All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do some drawing today. We're going to do some illustrating and digital illustration. And today we're talking about actually getting our physical drawings. Like we have a drawing right here, and we are going to take this drawing and we're going to get it into the computer so that we can work on it. Okay, so I have a drawing right here. It is physically on a piece of paper, as you can see. Okay, and I've sketched it out. Okay, and this is one way that you can get your sketches into a program. Okay, there's multiple ways, but this is one way. Okay, so I have that file there, and if you go to your Google Classroom, I have this file in here. Okay, I've got Space Fox Sketch. So if I go there, I've got that file, and you can go ahead and see that I've got that file, and I've just taken a clear photograph of it on the desk and right here in the classroom. Okay, so there it is. You can see it's not a fully finished sketch, it's a sketch. Okay, but it's got enough everything done that I can work on making my finished product for it. So I've worked out the character and their pose and everything, and I've got everything that I'm happy with. I want to proceed to start making a finished product with it. Okay, so there's my photograph. Okay, so if you guys want to go ahead and you're going to download that to your computer so that we can upload it to the Gravit designer. So you are going to go, I'm going to click out of this, I'm going to go ahead and go over here to Gravit designer here. Okay, we're going to make a new file, say new design, and we're just going to make it 8" by 10", and then we're going to create. I have to get this down here a little bit. Get me out of the way. All right, so we got our file here. It's 8" by 10". Okay, now how do we get our file in there? Just like we did before, where we open the image, we're going to open it like we did in Photoshop. We're going to do the same thing here and grab a designer, or if we were in Adobe Illustrator. Okay, we are going to open, and we're going to import and place image. Just like we export the image as a different file format to go into another program, we're going to import and we're going to place this image. Okay, so I'm going to import it. I've already downloaded this to my downloads folder, and it is called SpaceFox. So I click SpaceFox, open it up there, and then we're going to take him right there. All right, so as soon as he places in there, you'll see it's right there, and then you can go in here with your main move tool, V tool, and you will see if you want to make it bigger, you can. So I'm just going to stretch mine out. Hold down my shift key so I don't distort him here. Just kind of place your Space Fox how you would like it. If you want to get rid of all the wood grain, if you find that distracting, kind of however you want it, make a nice composition. If you want to rotate it or something like that, you may. I'm going to go ahead and start right there. Okay, so you see right here, you have on our layers panel, we have its actual image, got a little image icon that we've placed a photo in there. It's called Space Fox because that's what it was called when it was imported. Okay, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new layer. Okay, I'm going to create a new layer, and I want you to double click on that layer, and we're going to call this layer line work. Okay, now in that layer, go ahead and click on that. We're going to go right up here, and we're going to get our pen tool. And what we're going to do with this, we are going to trace this line work with our pen tool. Okay, and this will be slow going for you at first, but once you get the hang of the pen tool, I guarantee you can trace things very quickly with it. It does take a little bit of a learning curve, but that's why we're here practicing on this drawing. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to start here at this eye. I'm going to trace around this face, and I'm going to go all the way up and around over this ear and come back. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. So first thing I want you to do is get in real close. Okay, this works better if you can see what you're doing. Okay, also I want you to have one hand on your keyboard and one hand on your touchpad or a mouse if you're using your mouse, but keep one hand on your touchpad. Specifically, while we're zoomed in, we're going to use the spacebar key to get our hand tool and move around. And then we're going to use the D for our direct selection tool, which we're going to use to help adjust our pen and our path. Okay, so I have got my pen tool here, and my border is set to just a 1-pixel border there, and that's going to be in black, and that's going to be just fine for what we're doing. Okay, we can change our line work later. We just need to get our path made first. Okay, so with our pen tool right up here, we're going to click, make sure you have the regular pen tool. I'm going to click on this corner first. I'm going to click right there. Okay, that's going to create a point. You'll see my blue line right here. Okay, now I need to make this curve. Okay, remember as we did in class, when you click, it'll make a straight line. When you click and drag, it's going to make a curved line. So when I go over curves, I don't want to try to make all this curve in one point. I want to try and make a nice curve in a couple of points. I usually go to the high point of my curve, and then I'll come around and I'll kind of meet it where it meets on the other side if I'm making like a circular curve, okay? But you're going to take your time. Now, zooming in here, the handle is my curve as I come out. It's always going to follow which way this line is. Now, remember I told you you need to keep your hand on your keyboard. We're going to hit D with that pen selection, and that's going to bring up our direct selection tool that we can kind of edit our path as we're going. I kind of overshot that curve a little bit, so I'm going to adjust it back, okay? And then I'm going to come down to about here, and I'm going to make another stroke, okay? We do want to try and do this in as few strokes as possible, okay? Now, again, it's important to remember that this handle, where this handle goes, is going to tell my line as it goes forward how it's going to come out. See, it's going to go over here. If I try to curve over here, it's still going to try and follow that path, okay? So if I need to make a corner, instead of that, I'll click on there, and now I can make a corner, okay? We want to save to cloud? We sure do. Let's go ahead and name this. I'm sorry, we should have named it there. We're going to call this Space Fox 21. That's going to do its thing. All right, so now I left my drawing, or I'm coming back into my drawing, and I need to make my space. Command Z. First, I'm going to get my D, and I'm going to hit that there, and now I'm going to get that pen tool, and you'll see that I can click right there and pick right up where I left off. All right, so I'm going to continue. I'm going to keep sliding down here. And I'm just going to try to put my line as close as I can to where my drawing is. A little bubble in my drawing here. I think I'm just going to go over here and make that a nice curve for his nose, and I'm going to come out like that, okay? So now I got a point, okay? And I need to go back on here, but I've got my curve out here. So again, to make a point, I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to go down here to this next corner. I'm going to drag that out until I am happy with it, okay? Now again, I can edit this while I'm going. So if I hit D, let's say I misshot this. Let's say I went up here, okay? I can still move that point, okay? As long as I hold down D, I can go and I can adjust this, and I can pull this out and adjust it as I go. Going up, 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 up. Back on my path here. So if you don't get it the first time, don't worry. You can always come back to it. Okay, see, I can just drag that handle in there. I can pull it in. I can still also bend curves. Okay, some things you're going to do, it's going to do all kinds of walking things. So don't panic though. You can fix it. It is endlessly editable. Okay, like I say, it might be a little slow going for you at first, so don't panic. Take your time. Be patient. All right, so I'm going to keep going around here. I'm going to come around here, and I am going to come over here to, you see I've kind of got a nice curves up and then back down. So I'm going to go to the top of that end curve, and I'm going to push it in a little bit. And it looks like I'm going to hold down D. I'm going to have to bring this curve in just a little bit to fix it. There we go. I'm going to come down to about here. And you want to go and just till it starts to change direction. I overshot that curve a little bit there. I'm going to straighten it out just a little bit. Go up here to the corner of the mouth. I'm going to go right there. Okay, now I got a corner. I'm going to click back on the point so I can make a corner. And I'll make nice curve. Back on my point to make a corner. This is a straight line. Short ones I can get like this. Again, I can't stress enough. Zoom in close so you can see what you're doing, okay? Again, here's a curve, right? It's a half circle. Now, I'm not going to try and do that all in one. I'm going to do it in 2 clicks here. I'm going to click one here. I'm going to stretch that out to about there. And then I'm going to come down here and grab this and there. Click my point. Click up. Move my board over so I can see what I'm doing. I'm making a corner here, so I'm click on my point again so I can make a corner. Click and drag, make a curve. Gentle curves you should be able to make in less points, but I'm still going to break them up into a couple curves. Click my point to make a corner. I go up to about here. You see, the further I go, the softer that curve will get. So I want to make a nice curve that's going to go up to here. Get my space fox all the way up here to his ear. Trace that out a little bit. Looks like I missed the corner of my point just a little bit. I'm going to push D, and I'm just going to pull that down to the corner there, like that. I'm going to hit my button so I can make a corner. Click and drag. Again, this is kind of coming up and over, so I'm going to have to take this curve in just a little bit. Up to about there's where I'll be going. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to make a point there. Almost back around to the point here. Again, I'm going to go kind of the high point of my curve here. Come over here. Now you notice when I come back around to where I started, my cursor will change, giving me that little circle to tell me that I'm about to close the shape, okay? And then my shape will be closed. So I'll close that by clicking on that last point where I started. I will drag out, okay? I'm going to have to give myself a little bit of correction here. I'm going to go to fill here. I'm just going to throw my fill away for right now just so I keep an outline. I'm going to get my D button, get my direct selection tool. I'm just going to drag that point right back in there. And then just kind of tweak everything back where I need it to be. All right, now I'm going to zoom out. Okay, so now I have a shape there. Okay. All right, so let's go over here and we can turn off our drawing, and you can see that I've got that shape there. Okay, super duper. All right, so now I want you turn our eyeball back on. Got our path right there. Okay, what I want you to do, you are going to go ahead and trace this entire head for your next class. Okay, so that is what I'd like you to do. Go ahead and trace your whole head. I want you to trace the shapes on the inside of the ear, trace your eyebrows, your eyes, his nose, this little piece of fur, this bottom kind of chin fur, and this ear over here. Have that all ready to go for class when you walk in next week. Have a good weekend. Do good work. If you have any questions, send me an email, and I will talk to you soon.